This is Chad Johnson with Agent Evolution. In this video, we're continuing our IDX series. In our first video, we showed you how to do the most common and simple of IDX advanced features, and that is creating a saved search or a saved link. In that, you as the agent go into your IDX and run a search. Save that search and then put the link somewhere on your website. In our example, we created a saved search for a fictitious community one. We set a price range of $200,000 to $400,000, and then we added that link to our community page through WordPress. We worked a little bit in the IDX broker dashboard and a little bit in the WordPress admin. Today, we're going to create a custom search. That custom search is going to be for a set area and for condos only. What this is going to allow us to do is to add a button to the Community One page here where we've already established that the area is Community One and we hide that. We've already established that it is for condo as a property type, and we're going to hide that. Then we're also going to hide any other fields that don't make sense when it comes to searching for condos in that area, like lot size. So what this is going to do is go beyond the saved search where people are just clicking a link, but they can't really fine tune it to their needs. We're now going to give them a very slimmed down and simpler search environment where there's just a handful of fields that they can customize to get to what they want. Now you're still going to have the main property search and people can search 8 million ways that way. But what we're trying to do is give people easier options to go to. Put more of the work on our plate as the agent and less work on their plate. The less work, the less barriers and obstacles that you have on your site for visitors, the higher conversion rate you're going to have. And more of those visitors are going to turn into leads. So let's go and create that saved search page. Now I'm going to go to my IDX Broker Platinum dashboard. A lot happens from your IDX dashboard. And I'm going to go to Pages, which is under Designs. So I click on Designs and we will see Pages. It's going to show me a list of all of my pages. Now most of these came already configured with my account. I don't have any custom ones in here at this point, but we're going to create one. And that is where this Create New button comes in. I click on that, and I'm now going to create a custom search page. They give me 5 options, basically the layout of this search page. Now, I'm going for simple, clean, basic. So I'm going to choose the basic. And it's asking me to give it a name. And then once I give it a name, it's automatically going to suggest a page URL. Probably not even going to need to worry about changing that URL if I give it a good keyword-rich name. So this is for Community One. It's a condo search. That gives me my area name and condos in my page URL. It's going to give me a little bit of extra Google juice there, some good search engine optimization. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to hit Submit. It's showing me that our new page has been created, and it asks me what do I want to do. Go back to Pages. That just takes me right back to where I started, and I'll see an empty, uncustomized search page in my list. I want to go to the Pages Preferences and actually do the work that I came here to do. Now on Page Preferences, we're going to see 3 tabs. The first one is Settings. The page URL and the page name I just set. I don't need to mess with it, and in fact it's even giving me a warning that if I mess with the URL I could break things. List options. In my account right now I only have 1 city list, 1 county list, 1 zip code list. So I'm not even going to worry about that. It's already set. If I'd made any changes, I would click Save Changes here. I have not, so I'm going to go straight to the Search Setup. This is where we're going to do most of our work. Now, I mentioned before that we are going to set the area, we're going to set the property type, and then we're going to hide them. It's very easy to do. Property type. This is a condo search. So I choose condo townhouse, and I'm going to now hide it. That means it's been set. This search page, once done and saved, will only search for condos, and no one can change that unless I go in and change these page preferences. Now, we're calling our community 1. We'll make that Carroll City here. I could also choose by county or zip code. These options are all going to depend on your MLS and your own account. I've set it, and now I'm going to hide it. So I have now set the area and the property type. They can't be messed with. Minimum price. That's relevant for a condo search, but 200,000 may be a little high. So let's have the default be 100,000. Let's say that's the pretty much the lowest price for a condo in this area. Maximum price is relevant, but 800,000 is a little steep for a condo. We'll say 300,000 is probably the most. Now, people are going to be able to change this. They could go back to 800,000. They could go to $1 million, do whatever. But these are kind of the defaults. We want to set the default so it looks like you know what you're doing and you've customized this for the area. Remember, a lot of what we're trying to do is build trust between you and these people you've never met so that they want to do business with you and want to trust you on such a large transaction. Bedrooms and bathrooms, those are great. People are going to want to set those when they say, okay, for condos, I need to make sure it has 3 bedrooms. We want to keep these. Square footage is relevant as well. But acres makes no sense for a condo. People aren't searching for condos on acreage lots. It's just doesn't make sense, so we're going to just hide it. Status, this is defaulted to active. We only want them to search for active properties. A lot of your MLSs may only give active properties to the IDX. So let's hide it. It's just a waste. Results per page, 10 is the default. I'm happy with that. Sort by, that default's most expensive to least. I'm more of a fan of newest to oldest. That way when people come back a second, third, and fourth time, they're going to see anything new on the MLS first. That's great because most of the time when you finally get someone's contact information, whether they register through the IDX, they fill out a contact form, and they pick up the phone, it's usually not their first time they've been to your website. They've usually come back several times. And as website owners, we think too much of how do we get that first time visitor when you really need to be thinking about, okay, also now how do I get that visitor to come back a couple of times until they're comfortable with actually reaching out to me and go from being just a standard website user to a lead. So I like showing newest listings first, but always show people what has come on the market most recently. Going down, there can be some advanced fields. Now I'm talking about making a very simple handful of options kind of a search. So I don't want them to be able to go in and say, but it has to have a fireplace or something of that sort. That's not the purpose for this search. There might be other times when there is a purpose for that, but not now. I want it to be simple and clean, and we are crafting this save search page the way we want it to be. So I'm going to say no, and I click Save Changes. Finally, there is lead registration, and I can say that I want to request the registration or I can force the registration. I'm not going to really get into this now, but there are a lot of strategies out there. Some people want to have no registration unless people request it themselves. Others think that requesting it and showing a good value in it, hey, register, and that way we can save the search. If anything new comes on the market, we can send it to you via email. And that might entice to get a little bit more leads. Then there's the folks that say, no, we're just going to force them to register at some point or they don't get anywhere. That's a whole conversation unto its own, probably hit on it later, but just know that with IDX Broker Platinum, you can request or force registration should you want to. I haven't touched anything there, so I'm going to go and I'm going to take a look at the page. I'm going to click Go To Page. A new tab opens up and I can see my page. Here it is. Real simple, real clean. And there's the URL that I need to put onto my website. That's going to be the next step that we do. I could also go back to pages here and I will see Community 1 Condo Search, and I can get that link again or go to the page. Once I click on link, I can edit it, change layout, I can delete it. Quite a bit of things we can do. But I'm all set. I have my page here. I can see that there's my URL and the custom permalink that I created for it. So we're going to now go and add this to our WordPress page. Now I've prepared a little space for it. Right here under Homes, I'm getting ready to put a nice big button. I've got my WordPress admin open right here to the Community 1 page. And I've actually already put in the example shortcode for a block button. Now, our themes have shortcodes built in. If you're not familiar with shortcodes, they are little excerpts in brackets. So here we have the font icon. Brackets, that's a shortcode. So anything in brackets in WordPress is a shortcode, and it tells your theme if it's shortcode for the theme. Some plugins have shortcodes, but lets them know, hey, you're going to do something. We'll get more and more into shortcodes as this series goes on, because IDX Broker actually, in their latest versions of their plugin, they now have a shortcode generator for their plugin. But our themes have shortcodes for things like several different kinds of buttons, for columns and other elements. Some of them have for fonts. So let me go and show you where you can see some examples. Now we do have this in all the documentation for your themes, but we also have it right here. And this is, I just went to the Agent Evolution website. I went to my theme and clicked on demo, and I can go to shortcodes, and you can see the shortcodes for buttons and content, for columns, and for font awesome icons. I click on buttons and content, and here we are. And it shows me all the different kinds of buttons I can do. And then these are the shortcodes to use. So I could have small buttons here, but I want this to be kind of pronounced. Something that's just, wow, click me. A call to action button, if you will. And that's where I am here with the block level buttons. And here is the example of the code. I can copy and paste this, change where the button goes to, which is the URL between these quotations, and then change where it says block button to add what text is going to be on the button, and voila, I have a call to action button for people to go and run a condo search. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the URL of my newly created custom search page. I copy it. I'm going to go into my WordPress admin. And like I said, I already copied that shortcode. So all I have to do is replace this line with the real URL and then write some good, catchy text for the button. The way these buttons are done, they're not in images, they're actually done through CSS styling. So Google is actually going to be able to read this text as well. So search condos in Community 1. Really, that could help me with a Google search if someone was searching for, search condos in Community 1. This is all I need to do. I just click Update. It's been updated. And I'm going to reload, and there we are. I now have this beautiful search condos in Community 1 button. It actually has a little bit of a hover effect. I click on it, and there's my search page.